I guess we could make this also a review video clip while we talk about the game. So overall, the update is fine. The biggest issue that I know everyone has the same concerns is the level of power creep that's involved in the game right now. It feels excessive. I'm curious, I'm waiting for one or two more updates to kind of see where the game takes a turn. We need to see game modes that support said damage and see the actual brackets that make sense for these units. So I want to give them an opportunity to really, make those changes before anything. I think it's an interesting unit. I think it's fine to increase the damage by this much, but they really have to bracket off whatever the damage is. Because, okay, let's say Wonder of View. Wonder of View feels in same category right now, similar to Eto. Eto definitely is a little stronger, but Wonder of View seems like pretty up there. But the thing is, Wonder of View is built a little differently than Eto, right? Wonder of View has that counterplay where he's depending on people to do damage, or depending on enemies to attack. So it's pretty interesting. Gappy seems over the top, but now that the ceiling's broken and we can see what beyond units have, I don't know. I don't know yet what the future looks like. I'm less disappointed about the damage numbers right now and the balancing, and I'm more concerned about the unit models. I've been a big fan of the game as they've been updating it and taking it into their hands, but honestly, the models have been a huge letdown. So I'm pretty disappointed with the models that are dropping. Just for comparison, like, I think this is fair. I don't think we're bashing hard. It's just like fair critiques, right? Where's Johnny? Spin. What's his name? Fingernail Saint, right? I mean, look at Johnny for a second. Johnny, yeah, looks like a fine model, no problem. And then he has his stand in the back, right? So it's peak. You're like, all right, cool. This is a good JoJo unit built out. It's cool to see the stand. I haven't watched all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, but I do know that, guess what? These guys have stands. And I'm sorry, but where's the stand? Where's the, it's just better graphics for a really OP unit. So it's really bad to see. I mean, even for Wonder of You, I mean, yeah, even for Wonder of You, I mean, it's just sad to see. Like, you would really hope they dropped the stands for them, that the models were better. I think the models right now are holding the game back. I'll be honest. I think that's like the one thing that's holding the game back right now is models. It's horrible. So I will say, not everyone's a fan of the current state of the game. You have a huge economy, just economy's dead basically. You can have as many rerolls as you want. So there's really no place for rarity or scarcity. The power creep and lack of complexity, yeah. I mean, so it's fun doing dungeons and playing around with different teams. I can't lie. It's pretty fun. However, now it's getting kind of weird where we're getting these huge big meta units for Rangers and for the Beyond. And I got it. They're supposed to feel strong. They're intentionally. But we need to see enough support units surround them that you feel like you can actually build different comps. So it's kind of sad to see. I'm not a huge fan of the current balancing situation. For me myself, the way I'm thinking that they might be headed is they're bracketing off tiers of damage. Your Beyond might be 1 unit per team max, and then you're gonna bracket off infinite damage potential. So huge, ginormous numbers with crazy interactions. Then you have the Ranger tiers which seem to be in the kind of ballpark of where Eto, Wonder of You kind of ranges, right? Gilgamesh feeds in pretty well, but like that's kind of the ballpark. The other Rangers have to get on par with them, but I think that's going to come in time. Dio's not working well right now. Dio's definitely bugged. That was also like kind of sad to see his ultimate not working. He's spawning with 2 billion damage per summon. Like, it's just dumb broken. So, like, look, I'm a content creator. I enjoy playing games, But I'll tell you, I will be as unbiased and fair as possible, and if I tell you if something's bad or it's not good, I'll tell you why. I'm not just going to trash it and treat it like garbage, but I think with the state of the game, we'll see what happens. I think you have to give it a few more updates. I think you have to give it about 2 to 3, and then we'll see how they are by the 3rd update. You have to see the change of game modes, you have to see the change of quality of life, and the addition of any other units now. Because now we've seen what a new ceiling looks like. So we'll have to absolutely see the... yeah, we'll have to absolutely see what happens next. So... yeah. I think the models is where they're falling short right now, dramatically. Look, don't mean to bash, but like Anime Vanguards has been held up because of their models and because of their maps. Okay? Like, because of the models and because of the maps, people equate that to higher quality. So what happens is when you fall short on both maps and models sometimes in a game, guess what? Everyone's going to equate the visual to low quality. The same can be said with UI, right? UI is one of the most important things in a game. So that I know should be getting reworked at some point. There's no way they leave this actually cooked UI in the game. So hopefully. You know what? It's funny you said that, Ziggy, because I was saying the exact same thing, brother. Is that when games like ARX comes out, the game is cooked. I hate to say it, but right now, if you ever watch Shark Tank, is it a proprietary industry? No. Is it an industry that has enough competition right now? No. Because people equate this right now to the tower defense genre. However, this is not it. This is an auto battler. This is an idle auto battler that lets you, get ahead in a game without as much input, right? Very similar to like a phone game, essentially. Same kind of thing. So I agree. I completely agree that if a similar competitor comes along and has, I would say, what used to be AFS style quality and graphics and UI, because AFS took the best of a lot of games and put it together. Sadly, I don't think AFS is growing anymore. I think they went to too many copy-paste updates and they messed up. But the initial quality of the maps, the lobby, the UI, the graphics, the VFX, the SFX, they were solid. I think AFS would have flourished had it been out before like ALS or before AV at some point. However, people are tired of too many like copy-paste type updates, But I agree. If there is another competitor, I think they're making a mistake by underestimating the community. Because there's going to be someone out there with just enough money that has the better idea, the better mousetrap, and they'll just copy-paste, make a better game. You understand? That's what they'll do. I would love to do that for this type of game. I can't lie. Absolutely. One day I'd love to have a whole dev team and make my own little Roblox games. But I'll tell you, like, yeah. I think when it comes down to how the actual game is being evolved and ran, it kind of sucks. So, look, I'm trying to still be optimistic at the same time. I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt of at least 2 to 3 more updates, but we'll see. We'll give it 2 to 3 more updates. I know another big gripe, topic-wise, is lack of communication. I don't think there's anything wrong with not telling people the actual like update time, but giving people a rough estimate of like, hey, it could be from this time to this time, no promises, but just a heads up. It would be a little better. I know there are a lot of folks that, on their weekend, they enjoy playing the game, they enjoy hanging out, playing with friends, talking about it, watching content creators. So, and I know for a fact there are a lot of CCs that hang out too, like myself, I did before. So, I don't know. I think communication's another big part. I think they're doing a little better than before, from my understanding, but it's probably not enough for the community. I don't think people mind waiting an extra week for an update, but people kind of want to have a pulse on what's going on. So, but the same can be said about ALS. Like, this isn't like a Boss Studios bash, because at the same time, it's like the boss buys the games, but the people who are running the games are like the developers, the moderator, like, you know, all the people that have a hand in cooking whatever the game is. So the guy's an investor, really. That's I mean that's the bottom line. That's what he does. The guy invests. So it all falls on Mr. Huh? You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Master Yoda. Yeah, is some level of accountability that has to do with it. But to be fair, if he has placed one person in charge that has to do with managing it, then yeah, it's probably managing that relationship with that employee to make sure that he's doing the right thing, or he or she, whatever the case may be. It really depends. It really depends. But you're not wrong. Yeah. He did too much flexing. Yeah, probably. Probably. Like I said, I have nothing against Boss Studios. I was excited for ALS. I was really hoping for them to keep growing, and for ARX. So I still hope that. I'm not preying on their downfall. I'm hoping they turn things around and make a good update, make a solid game, because there's potential. The community is there. The climate is there for it. They just gotta do the right thing, man. And they're falling short. I don't want it to die either. Yeah. I think they need to make a little better game modes with a little more thought put into it. I think the direction of like the Gilgamesh boss was a good idea. Making the boss the base, I think, was great. You know what? Gilgamesh is actually a pretty cool unit the way he's built out. But yeah, I agree. He takes a little bit of ramping compared to Eto, you know? Yeah. I mean, it sucks to feel that way, but it's true. I mean, like I said, I'm not here to like glaze or deny. Like, we're just having a conversation here while we roll. But yeah, the Boss Studio is pumping out some sloppy updates right now. I think a lot of people are in agreement with that. We're not on like an island by ourselves here. But everyone's in the same boat, though. I'll say that no one actually wants the game to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one actually wants the game to die. So let me see. Adam dropped a dev post. What did he write? I know some of y'all have watched Sub 2 about the flaws of the update in general, and yeah, I'm more than aware than I was, and the flaws I kept trying to bring the magic had with our most popular update versus making good updates. Going forward, it'll be a lot different. No divine trial spam or quest spam, just new mechanics and new cool things. We're all working hard here to plan a team. I want the planning team to cook up for y'all. I'll post some polls for future updates later on. Like, I think it's fine. I don't mind. I really didn't mind the divine trial spam, truthfully. I didn't mind quest spam. I didn't mind. It was like very clear on how to get the units. It sucks when it's bugged and it doesn't work properly. That's when it sucks. It sucks when the quests don't work properly and you're kind of wasting time. It just feels bad. So, I thought the new boss mechanic was fine. Just having a big HP boss. It was similar to Boss Rush, or similar to Gogeta when it first came out, except now we have the damage to take it on. I think I was fine with this boss event. I liked being able to team up with people too. That was nice. Do they still update? I have no idea actually. For Anime Saga, I am very unsure if that's something they're continuing to update. I haven't played it myself, but yeah. I mean, it needs the content to support the damage, or else you can't develop the builds that you want to do to maximize the units you're playing. And I agree, they need to keep the Rangers feeling special. I had high hopes for like Aizen, I had high hopes for Gohan. You know, they fell real short. So, I agree, they need to keep feeling special, and the Beyond Rarity is just its own tier at this point. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, the people that are planning, the people that are developing, they're still creators, right? So, as a community, you do your best to support them, but at the same time, they got to make sure they're focusing on the right quality of life, the right things, the right edits. Yeah, I really wished a lot of it was not as buggy as it dropped out on this update as well. That was sad to see for the questing, a lot of the interactions. What was this? Story mode, chapter 5 was just not working. So I feel like that's something easily could have been tried. So simple things. And that's the things, it's always the little things that'll make people happy, right? A good event with good game mode, people just want to gamble. Little things like that, just, you know, people enjoy having a good amount of resources. But now you want to play up your units and your strategy against stuff. So the only strategy that was involved was climbing dungeons for a while. But now, whew, now it's probably a little bit on the brain dead side for climbing, just with how much damage is involved. I mean, yeah. There's also less incentive, I think, once you have the unit already, the professor. I don't know. They could make some moves to foster a community. I guess recommendations, let's see. I feel like we've been talking about a lot what went wrong. And we talked about some stuff that went right. Subtrait auto. Yeah, subtrait auto would be way better. Yeah, 100%. Subtrait auto is needed. Because then you could just let it run. Yeah. Recommendations to make the game better. Yeah, we could start with that. So subtrade auto, for sure, I think would be solid. Auto curse reroll, that would be huge. Auto curse reroll has to happen. They need to adjust the visual of the UI. The UI visual is like pretty old school right now. It's pretty bad. I don't think the UI is doing them any favors. Even for the in-game units, I think it just looks bad. So I do think the UI needs a revamp. I was hoping PvP would be dope in ARX. I agree. So, hear me out. PvP, to me, sounds like Teamfight Tactics from League of Legends. Very similar to where you can like spawn in units. I don't know, I feel like you could do a lot with this kind of auto battler game mode. I think it would be a fun idea to try out. And you can make it traitless, just entirely traitless. I think cut the traits out completely, and then you could do picks and bans and however. But I think you could have fun with a little PvP. It'd be more interactive. I think they should add clans or guilds, whatever you want to call them in this game. I think you need to foster more community, more team play, you know. Think about it. Let's say you have a clan of 100 people. Some of the folks that jump on for the update want to group up with each other and make something a little easier than going on Discord, right? Discord's not the best of interaction. You have to deal with fake links and just a bunch of trash. It gets annoying sometimes. I think clans would help out. It would really like kind of reinforce the existing community and kind of grow it. Interaction with events for that, I have no idea. I think that's something to play around. What else? What else could it be improved? Oh, capitalist sovereign has to be fixed. Capitalist sovereign has to be fixed. Yeah, just for me and like a bunch of other people that have capitalist sovereign that don't get to spawn 2 when it says spawn 2. What else? What else? I think you have to keep an event like Swarm running all the time. So some people are annoyed having Swarm event. I think that's fine. But what's wrong with capitalist sovereign? Oh yeah, it says 2 but doesn't spawn 2. Yeah. I think you need to have a event like Swarm event to keep people playing, to keep people like, you know, enjoying rolling on new units. Because it's resource abundant, it doesn't feel as bad when new units drop. So I like that idea. Let's see. The only other thing I would do is make something similar to a Pokemon PC box. If you guys are familiar with Pokemon PC box, it's just like having a box that you could literally store your units. I think it gets to a point where you just have way too many units, and it's like, I don't know, it becomes aggressive to control what you trade, you know, what you play with, what you use. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What do you guys think?